There's something inside of you that never gave up, even when everything around you told you to. That's not survival. That's purpose. This inner fire is a sign that your losses weren't random. They were part of a greater divine plan. What if every setback you faced was God's way of redirecting you towards something extraordinary? Pause for a moment and consider. This message found you for a reason in this exact season of your life. It's no coincidence. God orchestrated this interruption to remind you that loss creates space for restoration. You are chosen, handpicked to receive this truth, even amidst the pain of what you've lost. Every job that slipped away, every relationship that ended, was clearing the path for blessings beyond your imagination. Feel the urgency in your spirit. God is speaking directly to you right now, affirming your worth. Your struggles have refined you, preparing you for a destiny filled with abundance and joy. This is your divine wake-up call, pulling you from the shadows of loss into the light of purpose. You are not defined by your failures. You are God's masterpiece, shaped through every trial. Your resilience proves that you're more than a survivor. You're a chosen one with a unique calling. Losses may have tested you, but they've also built your strength for the greater things ahead. Remember, your spiritual worthiness shines through, even in the darkest moments. Biblical wisdom affirms this. In Jeremiah 29:11, God promises plans to prosper you, not to harm. You've been through the fire, and it's forged you into someone ready for extraordinary breakthroughs. Let go of the shame from past losses. They were divine preparations for your elevation. You possess an unbreakable spirit, one that God has been nurturing through every hardship. Affirm to yourself, I am chosen, and my losses are stepping stones to my greater purpose. This affirmation restores your self-worth, reminding you that you're irreplaceable in God's eyes. Now let's uncover the core truth. Everything you lost was making room for what's greater. This isn't just a saying, it's a spiritual principle that transforms pain into profound growth. God uses losses as a divine reset, clearing out what's no longer meant for you. Think of it as a fresh start, where old endings pave the way for new beginnings. The Bible supports this in Romans 8:28, where all things work together for good for those who love God. Your losses aren't punishments, they're setups for overflow and abundance. Just as a seed must break to grow, your heartaches are birthing something beautiful. Embrace this truth. What was taken was making space for miracles you haven't seen yet. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning, as Psalm 30:5 declares. Hold on to this revelation. Your greatest gains are tied to what you've released. First, recognize that every loss is a divine lesson, equipping you with wisdom and strength. These lessons teach you to trust God more deeply in uncertain times. As Proverbs 3:5-6 instructs, lean not on your own understanding, but on God's guidance. Reflect on a recent loss, like a failed opportunity, and identify what it taught you about perseverance. Turn that pain into purpose by journaling your insights, transforming setbacks into stepping stones. This process builds your resilience, preparing you for the responsibilities of your calling. If defeat has weighed you down, know that these lessons are forging your character for greater success. Apply this by seeking God's wisdom daily, turning every loss into a valuable life lesson. Remember, growth comes from challenges, not comfort, so embrace the lessons hidden in your losses. Through this, you'll emerge wiser and more equipped for the blessings ahead. Second, your losses act as God's pruning process, cutting away the unnecessary for new growth. Pruning might hurt, but it's essential for producing abundant fruit in your life. John 15:2 explains that God prunes the branches to make them even more fruitful. Identify toxic elements in your life, like unfulfilling relationships, and release them through prayer. This creates space for healthier connections and opportunities that align with your purpose. If emptiness follows your losses, understand that this pruning is temporary and transformative. Emotional resonance comes from knowing God is crafting you into a stronger version of yourself. Start today by declaring freedom from what no longer serves you, inviting fresh growth. Pruning reveals your potential, turning barren seasons into seasons of blooming. Trust this process, as it leads to a harvest far greater than what was removed. Third, what you've lost is vacating room for blessings that perfectly align with your true purpose. Losses open doors to opportunities that match your God-given destiny. Joel 2:25 promises that God will repay the years the locusts have eaten. Visualize the space in your life, such as in your career, and declare it filled with divine favor. Set new goals based on your evolved self, stepping into the purpose losses have revealed. If grief lingers from what's gone, let this truth bring comfort and anticipation. God isn't subtracting from your life. He's adding what's meant for your highest good. Turn your sorrow into celebration by focusing on the greater blessings on the horizon. This subpoint empowers you to reframe losses as invitations to something better. Begin applying this by listing potential blessings that could fill the voids in your life. Fourth, trust that your losses are part of God's perfect timeline, ensuring everything arrives at the right moment. Delays are not denials. They're divine alignments for your ultimate victory. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us that there's a time for every purpose under heaven. Practice patience through daily affirmations, reminding yourself of God's impeccable timing. Use this waiting period to build your faith, preparing for when breakthroughs manifest. If waiting feels overwhelming, know that God is orchestrating every detail for your good. Your losses are merely the prelude to the victories God has planned. Embrace this timeline as it positions you for rewards that exceed your expectations. Start a routine of gratitude, thanking God for the unseen progress in your journey. This trust transforms anxiety into peace, knowing your story ends in triumph. Beyond these truths, there's a mystical element at play in your life right now. You might notice signs like repeated numbers or unexpected encounters guiding you forward. These are spiritual nudges from the Holy Spirit, confirming that losses are shifting into gains. Pay attention to dreams of new beginnings. They're prophetic indicators of restoration. This season marks a divine realignment where energies around you are pulling toward greater opportunities. The universe, guided by God, is conspiring for your comeback from every loss. If you felt a subtle pull in your spirit, that's God whispering promises of renewal. These mystical signs are personalized messages, affirming your path to abundance. Open your heart to these intuitions as they reveal the greater plan unfolding. In this prophetic moment, your losses are catalysts for a supernatural upgrade. Now it's time for a call to spiritual action. Don't just listen, but respond with faith. Comment below with "I'm making room" and share one loss you've experienced to build community. Take a moment right now to pray, asking God to show how your losses are preparing breakthroughs. Write down 3 ways you'll trust the process starting today, turning insight into action. Challenge yourself to declare affirmations daily, speaking life over the spaces left by losses. Engage with this message by sharing it with someone who needs this encouragement. Let your actions reflect your faith, stepping boldly into the greater things God has for you. This call isn't optional. It's your invitation to activate the promises we've discussed. Start small. Dedicate time each day for reflection and prayer to solidify your commitment. By responding, you're partnering with God to manifest the rewards from your losses. Finally, envision the rewards and breakthroughs awaiting you on the other side of loss. Picture doors opening to financial abundance, where prosperity flows effortlessly into your life. Imagine restored relationships, blooming with trust, love, and mutual growth. See yourself stepping into personal fulfillment with a purpose that ignites your passion daily. This vision is backed by God's promises, as Isaiah 61:3 turns your ashes into beauty. Your future holds joy that outweighs every pain, with opportunities you once only dreamed of. Feel the anticipation, health restored, dreams realized, and peace that surpasses understanding. These breakthroughs are not distant. They're drawing near, fueled by your faith. Envision a life where losses are mere memories, overshadowed by overwhelming victories. This glorious future is yours, as God declares abundance for His chosen ones. In closing, remember that you are a chosen one, and every loss was divinely designed for your good. Hold on to this truth as you navigate life's challenges, knowing greater things are coming. God's plan for you is unfolding beautifully, turning every setback into a setup for success. Reflect on this message daily, allowing it to strengthen your trust in divine timing. You are empowered, resilient, and ready for the overflow that awaits. Let this encouragement fuel your journey, reminding you that purpose prevails over pain. As you move forward, embrace the lessons from your losses with gratitude. Your story is one of redemption, where what's greater is already on its way. Keep affirming your identity. You are chosen, valued, and destined for victory. Trust in God's unwavering love and watch as everything lost makes room for what's infinitely greater. In the quiet aftermath of loss, recognize that divine forces are realigning your path toward unprecedented abundance. Every setback you've encountered is a celestial nudge, guiding you toward a destiny rich with purpose and joy. Picture the universe conspiring in your favor, turning what was taken into a foundation for something magnificent. Losses often serve as hidden blessings, clearing outdated chapters to welcome stories of triumph and renewal. Embrace the truth that what departs from your life does so to make way for divine upgrades and fresh opportunities. In moments of emptiness, remember that God is the ultimate architect, designing spaces for greater fulfillment. Your past heartaches are not in vain. They are the chisel sculpting a masterpiece of resilience and faith. Consider how each farewell paves the way for hellos that resonate with your deepest soul's calling. The void left by what you've lost is fertile ground, ready for seeds of prosperity to take root and flourish. Trust that divine timing weaves losses into a tapestry of breakthroughs, each thread stronger than the last. As you reflect on gone relationships, see them as lessons that refine your heart for truer, more enduring bonds. Financial setbacks are divine invitations to explore wiser paths, leading to wealth beyond material measures. Health challenges become catalysts, propelling you toward holistic well-being and spiritual vitality. Opportunities that slipped away were merely placeholders for ones aligned with your authentic purpose. In the realm of faith, losses are redemptive tools, sharpening your spirit for victories yet unseen. Biblical wisdom echoes that trials precede triumphs, as in Romans 8:28, where all things work for good. Your journey through loss is a sacred evolution, transforming pain into a powerful testimony of grace. God's hand in your losses ensures that what follows is not just better, but extraordinarily aligned with your essence. Release the grip on what's gone, allowing space for divine surprises that exceed your expectations. Each tear shed waters the soil for new growth, where joy and abundance spring forth in abundance. Understand that divine lessons from losses equip you with wisdom, turning past pains into future strengths. As Proverbs 3:5-6 advises, lean on divine guidance during trials and watch your path straighten toward greatness. Reflect on a recent loss and extract its teachings, using them as stepping stones to personal empowerment. Journaling your experiences transforms grief into growth, preparing you for opportunities on the horizon. Losses build resilience, ensuring you're fortified for the responsibilities that come with greater blessings. Pruning away the unnecessary allows your true potential to bloom, much like a vine in fertile soil. John 15:2 reveals that God prunes for fruitfulness, cutting ties that hinder your spiritual progress. Identify what no longer serves you, and through prayer, release it to invite thriving connections. This pruning process, though painful, is temporary, birthing a season of overflow and renewal. In the space created by loss, envision blessings that align perfectly with your evolved self. Joel 2:25 promises restoration for what was devoured, repaying your losses with abundant grace. Visualize the voids in your life filling with purpose-driven achievements and heartfelt successes. Set new goals that reflect your growth, declaring victory over past setbacks with unwavering faith. Let this truth comfort your spirit. Sorrow is fleeting, making room for celebrations of divine favor. Trust the divine timeline, where losses are timed precisely for your ultimate good and prosperity. Ecclesiastes 3:1 affirms that every season has its purpose, including the one preparing you for breakthroughs. Create daily affirmations to cultivate patience, reminding yourself that delays precede divine deliveries. Use waiting periods to strengthen your faith, positioning yourself for the manifestations ahead. If overwhelm creeps in, hold on to the assurance that God's plan unfolds in perfect rhythm for you. Mystical signs often emerge post-loss, like recurring numbers, signaling a shift toward greater horizons. Pay attention to dreams of renewal, as they are whispers from the Holy Spirit confirming your path. In this season, energy realigns around you, drawing in opportunities that resonate with your soul's depth. Notice unexpected encounters as divine confirmations that your losses are catalysts for gain. The universe's subtle nudges are God's way of assuring you that new beginnings are on the cusp. Embrace these prophetic elements as evidence that your story is far from over, It's evolving gloriously. Spiritual forces are at work, transforming your losses into launches toward destined achievements. As you sense these shifts, declare your readiness for the greater things awaiting your embrace. Now, take a bold step. Engage in prayer to activate the promises hidden within your trials. Comment below with a simple declaration like, "I trust the process," to build a community of faith. Share one loss you've overcome, inspiring others and inviting collective breakthroughs. Challenge yourself to journal daily reflections, turning insights into actionable steps of trust. Pray for revelation on how your losses are paving the way for unprecedented favor in your life. Write down 3 commitments to faith, starting today, to solidify your journey toward greater. Let this call ignite your spirit, propelling you from reflection to radical, faith-fueled action. Envision a future where financial abundance flows freely, erasing the shadows of past scarcity. Picture restored relationships blooming like gardens, filled with authenticity and mutual growth. Imagine personal fulfillment lighting up your days as passions align with divine purpose. Doors of opportunity swing wide, revealing paths to success you once only dreamed of. Isaiah 61:3 promises beauty from ashes, turning your mourning into a dance of joy. In this vision, every loss dissolves into waves of prosperity, health, and unshakable peace. Your breakthroughs are not distant. They're forming now, ready to unfold in spectacular fashion. See yourself stepping into roles of influence where your experiences empower and uplift others. The rewards awaiting you are tailored by God, exceeding the limits of your imagination. Hold on to this prophecy. Your greatest victories are birthed from the very losses you've endured. As you affirm your divine identity, know that you are chosen for a legacy of abundance. Every trial you've faced has been a divine design, crafting you for extraordinary feats ahead. Reaffirm your worth. Losses do not define you. They refine you for the glory that's incoming. Trust in God's unwavering plan, where each end is merely a prelude to a magnificent beginning. Reflect on this message and let it anchor your spirit, fostering hope in every step forward. Your story of loss is transforming into a testament of triumph, guided by celestial hands. In the wake of what's gone, celebrate the space it created for dreams yet to unfold. Divine interruptions like this video are signs that your turnaround is imminent and assured. Losses are the universe's way of redirecting you to paths laced with gold and grace. Each goodbye echoes a promise. Something greater is en route, tailored just for you. As you navigate life's ebbs, hold fast to the truth that emptiness precedes overflow. God's economy exchanges ashes for beauty, ensuring your losses yield exponential returns. In the silence of loss, listen for the whisper of destiny calling you forward. Your resilience, forged in fire, positions you for peaks of joy and fulfillment. What was lost was a shadow. What's coming is the full light of divine favor. Embrace the transition, from scarcity to surplus, from pain to profound peace. Biblical narratives remind us that Joseph's losses led to his exaltation. Yours will too. Turn your gaze from what's absent to the abundance God is eager to provide. Losses strip away illusions, revealing the authentic path to your highest good. In divine wisdom, every closure is an opening to something more aligned and alive. Your spirit, tested and true, is now primed for the blessings that await discovery. Let go of the old with gratitude, for it makes room for the extraordinary new. As Psalms declare, joy follows weeping. Your morning of victory is dawning soon. Losses are not punishments, but invitations to a banquet of blessings prepared for you. In the alchemy of faith, what's lost transmutes into lessons of light and liberation. God's greater plan unfolds like a scroll, revealing wonders from the wounds of yesterday. Stand firm in the knowledge that your story is one of redemption and rising. Each loss is a thread in the divine tapestry, weaving a narrative of triumph. As you heal, watch how the universe conspires to fill your life with wonder. Losses teach humility, which God uses to elevate you to heights of influence. In the garden of your life, pruned branches make way for blooms of brilliance. Trust the process. What's departing is making space for your soul's deepest desires. Divine restoration is at hand, turning your trials into testimonies of grace. Losses are the prelude to your symphony of success, composed by heavenly hands. Embrace the shift, from loss to legacy, from struggle to serene abundance. Your faith, refined through fire, will unlock doors to destinies divinely ordained. In every end, God plants the seeds of new beginnings, rich with potential. Losses illuminate the path, guiding you to treasures hidden in plain sight. As you release the past, feel the surge of energy toward your greater future. God's promise is steadfast. What you lose, He multiplies in ways unimaginable. In the echo of loss, hear the call to rise, renewed and ready for more. Your journey through trials is the forge where your greatest strengths are born. Losses are divine edits, refining your story for a plot of profound victory. Hold onto hope. The greater is not just coming, it's already on its way. As you step forward, know that every loss was a setup for your spectacular comeback. In God's grand design, what you've lost pales in comparison to the greatness awaiting you. In the quiet aftermath of loss, recognize that God's hand is gently redirecting your path toward uncharted horizons of abundance. Every tear shed in disappointment becomes a seed planted for future joy, sprouting into blessings you once deemed impossible. Consider how the voids in your life are not voids at all, but sacred spaces where divine potential eagerly awaits its moment. Through the lens of faith, what was taken was merely a temporary shadow, paving the way for light to flood your world. Embrace the truth that endings are divine invitations, urging you to step into versions of yourself yet undiscovered. In the story of your life, losses act as plot twists, designed by God to heighten the drama of your ultimate triumph. Picture your heart as a garden, where old roots are removed to make room for flowers of extraordinary beauty and fragrance. As echoed in Romans 8:28, every setback weaves into a tapestry of good, aligning your journey with God's masterful plan. Let go of the weight of what's gone, for it frees your spirit to soar into realms of fulfillment you've only dreamed of. The pain of release is God's chisel, sculpting you into a masterpiece of resilience and unshakable strength. View your trials as heavenly edits, refining the narrative of your life for a more compelling and victorious conclusion. In the economy of heaven, nothing is wasted. Every loss is an investment yielding exponential returns in grace and favor. Trust that the doors closed were barricades against mediocrity, opening gateways to excellence and divine overflow. As the winds of change sweep away the old, they carry the seeds of renewal, promising harvests of unprecedented prosperity. Recognize that your deepest wounds are portals, leading you to deeper wells of wisdom and spiritual insight. From the ashes of broken dreams rises a phoenix of purpose fueled by God's promise of restoration and renewal. In moments of emptiness, hear the whisper of the Spirit, assuring you that greater fullness is on the horizon. Every farewell whispered in sorrow echoes, as a prelude to hellos brimming with joy and unexpected opportunities. Allow your faith to illuminate the darkness, revealing that what was lost was but a fraction of what's destined to be yours. As Psalm 126:5 reminds us, those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy, turning your grief into gladness. Contemplate how divine timing orchestrates losses to align perfectly with seasons of explosive growth and breakthrough. In the silence following loss, listen for God's voice, guiding you toward paths lined with treasures beyond measure. See your setbacks as strategic pauses, allowing you to gather strength for the marathon of marvelous achievements ahead. The fragments of your shattered plans are pieces God reassembles into a mosaic of miracles and wonder. Embrace the transformation where pain transmutes into power, equipping you for victories that defy human logic. As Isaiah 43:19 declares, God is doing a new thing, making streams in the desert of your losses for refreshment and life. Let the memory of what's gone fuel your fire, igniting passions that propel you toward greater destinies. In the architecture of your story, losses are the foundations upon which God builds cathedrals of success and fulfillment. Recognize that divine pruning, though sharp, ensures that only the best fruits remain to ripen in your life. Every closed chapter is a divine edit, preparing the narrative for sequels filled with adventure and divine surprises. As you release the old, feel the surge of energy, a holy momentum carrying you into realms of radiant possibility. In the wake of loss, discover hidden strengths, gifts unearthed by God's gracious hand for your greater good. Trust the process where endings birth beginnings, each one more magnificent than the last in God's grand design. As 2 Corinthians 4:17 affirms, your light and momentary troubles achieve for you an eternal glory that far outweighs them. View your journey as a divine upgrade, where losses are traded for levels of blessing you never imagined possible. In the rhythm of life, losses are the beats that build toward a symphony of success, harmonious and divine. Let go of attachments that hinder, making space for attachments that heal and elevate your spirit. As God clears the clutter, envision a landscape of opportunity, vast and inviting, ready for your exploration. Every lesson from loss is a key unlocking doors to wisdom that guides you to your highest calling. In the alchemy of faith, what was lost turns to gold, enriching your life with purpose and profound meaning. As Jeremiah 29:11 promises, God's plans for you are for welfare and not calamity, leading to a hopeful future. Recognize that divine interruptions are mercies in disguise, rerouting you from paths of limitation to paths of liberty. In the quiet reflection, see how losses have sharpened your focus, directing your gaze to what truly matters. Embrace the shift where pain paves the way for peace, and scarcity gives birth to abundance in God's timing. As the Spirit hovers over your chaos, expect order to emerge, bringing clarity and a cascade of blessings. Every goodbye is a setup for a hello, where new relationships bloom with depth and divine alignment. In the tapestry of your life, threads of loss weave patterns of beauty, creating a masterpiece of resilience. Trust that God's eraser removes only what obstructs, revealing a canvas primed for strokes of genius and grace. As Psalm 30:11 declares, God turns your mourning into dancing, your sorrow into songs of deliverance. Let the echoes of loss remind you of your endurance, a testament to the greater strength God is building within. In divine economy, exchanges are always in your favor, trading temporary pain for eternal gain. Recognize the signs of spiritual realignment, where losses signal the dawn of a new, empowered era. As you surrender what's gone, feel the infusion of heavenly energy, propelling you forward with purpose. Every void is a vessel, waiting to be filled with God's overflow, turning emptiness into exuberance. In the mirror of faith, see your reflection transformed, losses having polished you into a beacon of hope. As 1 Peter 5:10 assures, God will restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you after your trials. Embrace the prophetic nudge that your season of loss is concluding, ushering in waves of wonder. In the flow of spiritual currents, losses are eddies that build momentum for your triumphant surge ahead. Let go and watch as God orchestrates symphonies from your silence, harmonies of healing and hope. As divine signs appear like whispers in the wind, know they confirm the greater is manifesting now. Every step back is a strategic retreat, positioning you for a leap into landscapes of limitless potential. In God's workshop, losses are tools that shape your character, forging a legacy of legacy and light. Trust the invisible threads connecting your pain to purpose, weaving a narrative of redemption. As Joel 2:25 vows, God restores what was devoured, repaying lost years with abundant compensation. Recognize that your story's plot twists are authored by heaven, leading to climaxes of celebration. In the alchemy of grace, bitterness becomes blessing and scarcity transforms into surplus. Let faith illuminate the path ahead, where losses illuminate the landmarks of your destined victories. As the Spirit stirs, feel the shift from stagnation to motion, from lack to lavish provision. Every closure is a divine comma, not a period, inviting continuation in chapters of greater glory. In the quiet aftermath, sense God's presence, affirming that your wait is rewarded with wonders. As Ephesians 3:20 promises, God can do immeasurably more than you ask or imagine through His power. Embrace the transition where old pains fade, making room for pleasures eternally satisfying. In divine timing, losses are preludes to promotions, elevating you to platforms of influence. Let your heart expand in the space created, ready to receive the influx of joy and justice. As prophetic winds blow, they carry away the chaff, leaving only the essence for flourishing. Recognize that God's delays are designs, crafting perfections in the fabric of your future. In the symphony of life, losses are rests that heighten the melody of your forthcoming successes. Trust the process where surrender leads to supply and faith unlocks the floodgates of favor. As Matthew 7:7 encourages, seek and you will find, knock and the door to greater will open. Every lesson learned is a lantern lighting your way through the shadows to shining shores. In God's economy, what's released returns multiplied, a harvest from seeds sown in tears. Let go of the familiar to grasp the phenomenal as divine exchanges elevate your existence. As the Spirit whispers assurance, know that your endurance is crafting crowns of glory. Recognize the patterns of divine restoration, where losses link to legacies of abundance. In the dance of destiny, steps backward build momentum for leaps into liberated living. Trust that God's pruning ensures productivity, yielding fruits that endure and inspire. As Isaiah 61:7 declares, instead of shame, you receive a double portion of joy and honor. Embrace the revelation that losses are lifelines, pulling you toward your true calling. In the quiet reflection, see how God's hand has been guiding, turning trials into triumphs. Let faith fuel your vision, where emptiness evolves into an empire of eternal blessings. As divine signs multiply, they affirm that your season of waiting is winding to wonder. Recognize that every end is an embarkation, launching you into oceans of opportunity. In the architecture of grace, losses are the blueprints for buildings of breakthrough. Trust the invisible forces at work, aligning stars for your stellar ascent and success. As Psalm 37:4 promises, delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Let go of the past to embrace the present's gifts, paving the way for future fortunes. In God's masterful plan, losses are links in the chain leading to chains of victory. As prophetic insights dawn, they reveal that greater is coming, swift and sure. Recognize the power in your pain, transforming it into a testimony of tenacity and triumph. In the flow of faith, losses are currents that carry you to shores of salvation and strength. Trust that God's timing is impeccable, turning your mourning into mornings of miracles. As 2 Corinthians 5:17 affirms, in Christ, you are a new creation with old things passed away. Let your spirit rise from the rubble, rebuilt as a fortress of faith and fortitude. In divine exchanges, what was lost is eclipsed by what's gained in glory and grace. Embrace the truth that your story is still unfolding with chapters of splendor ahead. As the Spirit stirs your soul, feel the assurance that greater gains are guaranteed. Recognize that losses are lessons in liberation, freeing you for flights of faith. In the tapestry of time, threads of trial weave into tapestries of triumph. Trust God's promise to restore and redeem, making all things new and noble. As you step forward, know that everything lost was indeed making room for what's infinitely greater. In the quiet aftermath of loss, a divine whisper echoes through the emptiness, promising that every shattered dream was merely the prelude to an unbreakable dawn. Picture the ancient oaks shedding leaves in autumn, not in defeat, but to make way for vibrant spring growth ordained by the Creator's hand. Boldly declare that the relationships you released were chains broken by heaven's key, unlocking doors to connections forged in eternal fire. Through the lens of sacred wisdom, your financial setbacks emerge as holy excavations, digging foundations for wealth that multiplies beyond earthly measure. Envision a river carving through stone, not to destroy, but to forge paths for fresher waters, guided by the unseen hand of providence. In poetic reflection, the health challenges you faced were celestial chisels, sculpting a stronger vessel ready for the overflow of vitality. Stand firm in this truth. What slipped from your grasp was never yours to keep, but a temporary guest making room for the king's inheritance. Like stars fading at sunrise, your old opportunities dimmed only to reveal the glory of a new celestial order designed for your ascension. With prophetic clarity, every tear shed waters the seeds of restoration, blooming into harvests that testify to the architect's flawless design. In the tapestry of your life, threads pulled away were imperfections removed, weaving a masterpiece of grace and abundance. Behold the phoenix rising from ashes, a vivid story of your losses transforming into flames that ignite unparalleled rebirth. Poetically, your heart's voids are sacred hollows, echoing with the promise of symphonies composed by divine orchestrators. Affirm this spiritual reality. The jobs that vanished were barriers dismantled, paving roads to vocations aligned with your soul's deepest calling. In storytelling form, imagine a wanderer losing their map in the storm, only to discover a hidden path leading to uncharted treasures. Boldly proclaim that isolation's sting was heaven's invitation, drawing you into intimacy with the one who prepares feasts in your wilderness. Reflect poetically on how each goodbye whispered was a seed planted, sprouting into hellos that resonate with eternal echoes. Through divine insight, your failures were not endings but eclipses, momentarily hiding the light that bursts forth in greater brilliance. Envision ancient prophets wandering deserts, their deprivations forging resolve for promises that overflowed like rivers in the wasteland. In bold truth, the burdens you dropped were weights lifted by angelic hosts, freeing you for flights toward horizons of endless possibility. Poetically, your losses are autumn winds, sweeping away the old to unveil the crisp beauty of a season ripe with new beginnings. Storytell of a shipwrecked sailor losing all at sea, only to wash ashore on islands of abundance, guided by stars of divine navigation. Declare spiritually that every closed chapter was a divine edit, refining your narrative for a plot twist of triumphant revelation. In reflective verse, the voids in your spirit are cosmic vacuums, pulling in the light of greater fulfillments from the heavens above. Vividly picture a garden cleared of weeds, not in loss, but preparation for blooms that perfume the air with heavenly fragrance. Boldly affirm, what you mourned as defeat was the strategic retreat of a warrior, positioning for victories that echo through eternity. Poetically, your heartbreaks are rivers redirected, carving canyons that lead to oceans of joy, vast and uncharted. In prophetic vision, the delays you endured were alignments in the stars, synchronizing your path with waves of breakthrough energy. Storytell of a forgotten seed buried in soil, its darkness a womb for growth, emerging as a tree shading generations with its branches. Declare this truth: the opportunities that faded were mirages dispelled, revealing oases of real, sustaining provision from on high. Reflectively, your losses are whispers of the wind, carrying away the chaff to leave kernels of gold polished for the king's treasury. Envision a blacksmith's forge where metal is hammered and heated not to destroy, but to shape weapons of light for battles ahead. Boldly state, every relational rift was a divine severance, making space for bonds forged in the fire of authentic, unbreakable love. Poetically, the silence after loss is a canvas stretched, awaiting the brushstrokes of a master artist's vibrant, life-giving colors. In storytelling mode, recall the exile of nations in Scripture, their wanderings leading to promised lands flowing with milk and honey. Affirm spiritually that your setbacks were strategic pauses, allowing the breath of God to infuse your spirit with renewed purpose. Vividly imagine a phoenix's flight, its past consumed in flames, rising now as a symbol of your resurrection into greater glory. Poetically, losses are autumn leaves falling, a graceful surrender to the cycle that ushers in the rebirth of spring's eternal promise. Declare boldly, what was taken was reclaimed by heaven's decree, exchanged for treasures that multiply in the economy of grace. In reflective truth, your pains are alchemical fires, transmuting base metals of sorrow into the pure gold of wisdom and strength. Storytell of a traveler losing their way only to stumble upon hidden valleys, rich with resources beyond their wildest imaginings. Envision the eagle molting feathers, not in weakness, but renewal, soaring higher into skies where greater visions unfold. Boldly proclaim, the dreams that dissolved were illusions shattered, making room for realities etched in the stars of destiny. Poetically, your voids are sacred echoes, resonating with the hymns of restoration that the universe sings over your life. In prophetic insight, every end is a threshold crossed, leading to realms where abundance answers the call of your faithful heart. Vividly picture a storm clearing the skies, its tempests washing away the old to reveal rainbows bridging earth and heaven. Declare this spiritual fact. Losses are divine invitations, calling you to tables set with feasts of fulfillment you never dared dream. Reflectively, your heart's scars are constellations mapped, guiding you through nights toward the dawn of unprecedented breakthroughs. The storytell of a vine pruned back, its cuts precise and purposeful, yielding fruits that overflow baskets in the harvest season. Boldly affirm, what you released was baggage dropped, lightening your load for the marathon of miracles awaiting your stride. Poetically, losses are rivers flowing into oceans, their journeys merging with vast waters of grace that carry you to new shores. In visionary truth, the gaps in your story are plot devices, building suspense for climaxes of joy that redefine your legacy. Envision a seed cracking open, its shell a loss that births life, roots digging deep into soil enriched by heavenly rain. Declare spiritually, every farewell was a herald's trumpet, announcing the arrival of companions suited for your elevated path. Poetically, your trials are verses in an epic poem, each line of loss leading to stanzas of triumph written by the divine poet. Storytell of a warrior disarmed in battle, only to be refitted with armor forged in celestial fires, invincible and gleaming. Boldly state, the finances that fled were illusions dispelled, paving way for streams of provision from the inexhaustible source. In reflective mode, losses are mirrors held up, reflecting not defeat, but the image of a champion emerging stronger. Vividly, imagine a tapestry rewoven, threads pulled to create patterns of beauty that outshine the original design. Declare this truth. What was lost was a shadow fading, making room for the substance of light that illuminates your purpose. Poetically, your heartaches are autumn rains, nourishing the earth for springs of joy that burst forth in colorful array. In prophetic vision, delays are alignments in the cosmos, positioning you for encounters that propel you into destiny's fullness. Storytell of a phoenix's rebirth, its ashes not an end, but the fertile ground for flames that burn brighter than before. Boldly affirm, every closed door was a guardian's act, protecting you for entrances that lead to palaces of promise. Reflectively, losses are whispers from the eternal, teaching rhythms of trust that dance you into seasons of abundance. Envision a garden after the flood, waters receding to reveal soil ready for seeds that yield bountiful, miraculous crops. Declare spiritually, what slipped away was chaff in the wind, leaving wheat gathered for the storehouses of heaven's bounty. Poetically, your voids are empty vessels, waiting to be filled with oils of gladness poured from the horns of salvation. In storytelling form, recall the prodigal's return, losses teaching the value of home where feasts await the wayward heart. Boldly proclaim, the health battles waged were forges of strength, equipping you for vitality that radiates divine health. Vividly picture a bridge burned, not in ruin, but to build a sturdier span across rivers to lands of greater adventure. Declare this truth. Losses are divine edits, refining your script for acts of glory that captivate the audience of heaven. Poetically, your pains are notes in a symphony, dissonances resolved into harmonies that echo through the halls of eternity. In reflective insight, setbacks are stepping stones, each one placed by unseen hands to elevate you to mountain peaks. Storytell of a river diverted, its new course carving valleys of fertility, watering fields that once lay barren and dry. Boldly state, what you grieved as end was a comma in your story, pausing before the exclamation of breakthrough chapters. Envision the dawn after midnight, stars fading to make way for sunrises that paint the sky with colors of hope renewed. Declare spiritually, every loss was a seed sown, germinating in the soil of faith for harvests that overflow your expectations. Poetically, your heart's emptiness is a cup held high, ready for the outpouring of wines from the vineyards of promise. In prophetic mode, delays are strategic waits, aligning the stars for alignments that launch you into orbits of favor. Vividly imagine a tree shedding bark, not in weakness but renewal, its new skin shielding for storms and sun alike. Boldly affirm, the dreams that died were illusions cleared, unveiling visions etched in the blueprints of divine destiny. Reflectively, losses are echoes in the canyon, teaching the depth of your voice, amplified for songs of victory ahead. Storytell of a nomad losing their tent, only to find a city built with walls of grace, secure and everlasting. Declare this truth. What was taken was exchanged in heaven's market, for goods that appreciate in the currency of faith. Poetically, your trials are waves crashing, reshaping shores for beaches where treasures of peace are washed upon. In visionary form, gaps in your journey are bridges under construction, leading to continents of opportunity unexplored. Envision a fire refining gold, impurities burned away to reveal purity that gleams in the light of God's approval. Boldly proclaim, every relational loss was a pruning shear, cutting for growth that bears fruits of genuine connection. Declare spiritually, setbacks are divine reroutes, guiding you around pitfalls to paths lined with roses of redemption. Poetically, your voids are silent prayers answered, filling with the rush of winds that carry you to higher ground. Storytell of a bird molting, feathers lost for flight renewed, soaring into skies where eagles gather in fellowship. In reflective truth, losses are lessons etched, inscribing wisdom on your heart for the sagas of triumph to come. Vividly, picture a storm's eye, calm after chaos, where rainbows arc as signs of covenants for greater days. Boldly state, what faded was a shadow dispelled, making room for the substance of light that defines your legacy. Declare this fact: every end is a rebirth invited, ushering in eras where abundance answers the call of your spirit. Poetically, your heartaches are autumn's release, freeing leaves for the dance that carpets paths to spring's revival. In prophetic insight, weights are weavings in the tapestry, threads of patience interlaced with strands of imminent glory. Storytell of a river's bend, waters redirected to fertile plains, irrigating fields that yield in abundance unforeseen. Boldly affirm, the opportunities lost were decoys revealed, leading to treasures hidden in the fields of your purpose. Reflectively, losses are mirrors of growth, reflecting the evolution of your soul toward the pinnacle of divine design. Envision a forge's heat, metal shaped for strength, emerging as tools wielded in the hands of destiny's warriors. Declare spiritually, what slipped was a veil lifted, exposing the realities of favor that await your embrace. Poetically, your pains are stanzas in an ode, verses of struggle resolving into choruses of joy eternal. In storytelling mode, recall the exile's return, losses teaching the sweetness of homecoming feasts prepared by grace. Vividly, imagine a seed's burial, darkness a prelude to sprouting, roots anchoring for towers of life above. Boldly proclaim, every closed path was a guardian's gift, directing you to gateways of opportunity divinely guarded. Declare this truth: losses are divine clarions, sounding alarms that awaken you to the dawns of greater calling. Poetically, your voids are canvases blank, awaiting the strokes of a master who paints masterpieces from emptiness. In reflective vision, setbacks are catalysts, sparking fires that illuminate the roads to your ultimate fulfillment. Storytell of a dawn breaking, night surrendered to light, symbolizing your losses as the gateway to mornings of endless greater.